welcome you to tonight's Bible study. Yes, if you have not gone from Genesis to Revelations, this is the place that you want to be at 6 o'clock in the evening because we are going all the way from cover to cover in chronological order. Now, I want to say I appreciate those of you that are already in my chat. Truck driver, I love you, man. That's my Mufasa. One reason the Bishop of Twitch is in the house. And then we have Kai Chick. And Kai Chick, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your resubscription to the channel. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you that may not be in my chat, but you're here. Thank you so much for your kindness and your time. And you know how we do on tonight's sessions. We just jump right in and get started. Now, this story of Joseph, I really want to emphasize. I really look and I say he is what I consider to be just the epitome of boss energy. The epitome of boss energy. Now, those of you that have taken Institute for Higher Consciousness, you know that I am an advocate that our special journey with the Lord is from the time that we're born right on until we close our eyes. There's something special about us. And a lot of times I believe that we come here very, very much in tune with God, in tune with the Spirit, and we get taught away from that. But Joseph and the story of his journey is so on point to really how most of us really are. We just don't figure it out, or we don't have that, what I want to say, maybe a mentor or a guide or somebody to really lead us as we go along. Now, the reason why I say that is we look at Joseph, and I'm going to start with that first verse. We're in the 37th chapter of Genesis. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob, Joseph being 17 years old. Now, I want to stop right there, and I want to deal with how many times, I would say the majority, if not all of you, I personally believe all, but you know, we always say don't make the all or none statements because they tend to be false just on the premise of all or none. However, this young man, just like many of us, started manifesting his gifts outwardly at the age of 17. At the age of 17. And we start seeing him having dreams and visions and moving and operating. And I would say to each of you, as we're talking through the scriptures from Genesis to Revelations, as I said to you earlier, my goal is that you make it a personal journey, not just a matter of reading the Bible only, but I want you to do some introspection. I want you to recall your life's journey. I want to look at your spiritual journey. I want you to stop and take an opportunity to really assess that. And I would say many of you knew that you had spiritual giftings. You may not have called it that, but you knew that you had, whether it was dreams, whether it was visions, whether it was some sort of gift and talent that was beyond human ability. It's something that you know that God gave you. Even if it was a matter of, and I've said this, I can remember even before I was quote unquote saved, which, you know, that's a whole area that I'm not necessarily going to touch on tonight. But I had connection with God, and I don't care. Nobody can take that from me. I know that I would have visions. I knew how to have a conversation with God and did so on a regular. It was not the on my knees, bedtime prayer, now I lay me down to sleep. It wasn't any of that. I had genuinely a legitimate relationship with God. And it was very powerful. I had gifts that I didn't know what to do with. I had dreams, I had visions, I had open visions. I saw things in what people would call premonitions and so on and so forth before they would happen. I knew things when they happened that there's no reason why I should have known that it happened at that time. And it didn't even have to deal with people in my family or people that were directly connected to me, I would have understandings of different things that as they happened, I sensed it and I picked it up and I saw a version of it in the spirit. I'm telling you, this was from childhood, long before I ever went up and, as we say, gave my life to the Lord. And that's why a lot of times in these areas of scripture, I like to stop and take my time because I believe many of you, just like Joseph was connected from the very beginning, this young man. So here we're talking about him at the age of 17 years old. And some of you, if you actually think back and reflect your teenage years and even years prior to that, you had something that was already working in you. Okay, so I just want to stop and I want to reiterate that point because a lot of times we're taught as if no, that's not gonna happen until you get a relationship with God and all this. Listen, relationship with God, we're connected to him when he breathed in us the breath of life and we became a living soul, and his pneuma or his spirit or his breath is what made us a living soul. We were connected. Now, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. Now, remember, he's the son of his old age. And remember, this is the son that he had with Rachel, whom he loved. And, we had the story, as one reason said, they were pimping him out. We had the story of how they were going back and forth, and God's interesting sense of humor, as one reason called it, where Leah's womb was open and she was popping them out. Then she gave him her handmaids and started popping them out. And Rachel was barren and she couldn't bring forth until at the very, very end, she had Joseph and then Benjamin and died in childbirth with Benjamin. So there is a definite connection that Jacob has, or Israel, his name has now been changed, Israel has with Joseph, because there is a love connection because of the love connection he had to his mother, Rachel. Now, I do want to say this as well. As we talk about, and I try to bring in as many elements as possible, as we talk about Joseph having and finding favor with Israel, and Israel makes him this coat of many colors, which also is about, it was not something cheap and skimpy. This is something, a coat of many colors and all the dyes, and that by itself, we're talking about something of great value. And gives it to Joseph. But sir, favorites, drama. And that's exactly where I'm going, one reason. When you find yourself in a position where you may be favored, or you see the one who's being favored, I want us to take some things into consideration. And I'm also going to deal with it. Some of you all have found that when we say favored, it's not only just a matter of I love you and have an attachment to you stronger. Sibling rivalry it abounds, one reason. And I also want us to take this into consideration. The child that gets favored, that is a tremendous weight to carry. You understand what I'm saying? That is a tremendous weight to carry if you have character. So this, even you may be the responsible one and you're favored in that way. Okay. This is why I was able to walk away from the streets, because of the preacher saw something in me that I couldn't see. Come on here, truck driver. That's what I'm talking about. It was in you before, from the very beginning, before you ever walked to the altar, made a confession and a statement of faith or any of that. It was already in there. It was deposited in you when God thought of you. It was deposited within you. Now, I also, again, I want us to think about the weight. If you are that one in your family that is the responsible party all the time, if you are, and that's a form of favor, that's a form of favoring, that's a form of knowing this is the one that's going to come through, this is the one that's going to do, this is the one that's going to execute this. I'm telling you, even though we may look at those individuals in different lights, I also want to cause you to stop and think about how great a burden that is to bear. Because then, listen to me, the sibling rivalry was real. Those brethren hated him, and it wasn't his fault. It was not his fault. But when you start favoring people over others, whether it's with saddling them down with the responsibilities as the responsible one, or giving them favors like this coat of many colors, you are setting up animosity, anger, strife, and every evil work to start popping up against that individual that's being favored. It just is. Now, granted, Joseph was gifted. And that's why I said, even at 17, he's having dreams, he's having visions. And listen, you all know the story, because at the end of the day, those dreams and visions, as he starts telling them to his brothers, actually gets him in trouble. Because when he starts telling stories that show him elevated above his brethren, that's not going to go over too good. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. This baby couldn't have a kind word spoken by any of his brethren. You can only imagine what that felt like. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Now, this is what I will say. I had to question Joseph's, now he's a young man, he's only 17, remember that. But you know, you have to question, was that wisdom to tell them the essence of this dream? And he said to them, "Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheep. You bowed down to my sheep. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us?" Keep it to yourself, bro. Come on, bro. You out here telling stuff, and they already hate you just on sheer general principle that your dad has given you this coat of many colors and favors you all over all the rest of your brother. And then you gonna come out here and start telling them this dream about them bowing down to you. And he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brethren. We've got to learn to keep our mouths shut. And this is one thing I say. The devil doesn't have all knowledge. God doesn't have an equal opposite. All right. The devil, the adversary, Satan, or as in the Jewish tradition, Satan, does not have equal opposite power to God, where we know God knows all things. The devil does not. How does the devil get tipped off? 9 times out of 10, it's your big mouth running. It's your diarrhea of the lips telling your brethren and telling everybody what really many things. You all remember when Mary and Elizabeth met and the babies leaped, and the Bible says, and Mary pondered these things in her heart. Sometimes you need to just ponder things in your heart and quit talking. He just be eavesdropping. That's all he's doing. One reason he's lingering and hanging around somewhere near you or somewhere near those and he's waiting for you to start having diarrhea of the lips. He's not omniscient. He does not know all things. He's only going to know what you reveal to him. Come on here. He's ear hustling. One reason. That's exactly what he's doing. And that's why many times you just need to keep it to yourselves. And then for those that do believe, everybody doesn't, so you don't have to. But for those that do believe that you have a heavenly language where you can speak in, and you have utterances that cannot be known, this is where I hope that you can find that place of having conversation with God. But at the end of the day, we see here that Joseph lacks wisdom, but the baby is only 17. And I want to keep saying that because I want us to understand the places that people are, the times in the season. At 17 years old, even at that age, he may have really felt good telling his brethren, I had a vision and a dream and y'all were bowing down to me. Now, don't play. Because listen, I got grown folks that they always looking for an opportunity to shine. And I don't have a problem with you. Shine, baby, shine. But listen, there are some points and places where it's not your time to shine. It's somebody else's time to shine. I've looked at adult parents that when it's their children's time to shine, here they pop up and they won't get out the picture. They're picking and grinning and smiling in front of the camera. It's not your time to shine. Sit down somewhere. It's time for your children to have their opportunity. But I'm telling you, some folks are just so hungry and so desperate. They want that thirsty. They want that limelight all the time. And I'm not going to chastise a 17-year-old that may have felt a little bit puffed up. Come on, sheltered and favored, Crystal Method. He may have felt a little puffed up and feeling like, listen, I'm thirsty. Come on here, one reason. You better talk to me. There's a whole lot of people that's thirsty and desperate. So I am not going to minimize that potentially it may have felt good to Joseph to tell his brethren, I had a dream. I had a dream today. Listen. And so at the end of the day, he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made, they just keep bowing to me. Now, Joseph, wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing. I need you to get wisdom. And in all that getting, get an understanding. There is a time to hold your peace. But I'm still going to say, I feel like this may have been stroking his ego just a tad. 17 years old, he's smelling himself just a tad. He's going somewhere here. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, as he should have, and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and my mother and thy brethren indeed come and bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? Now, I'm not saying rebuking because you can't imagine in your heart that you are going to actually have to bow down to him, because you are. But the reality that I'm saying, can you teach him some good common sense? Common sense is not common anymore. Can you teach him, even if that was your dream, Joseph, this is not the way in which to present it? Because at the end of the day, your brethren surely are not going to appreciate it. But here we see Israel didn't appreciate it either. So are you trying to tell me that we're going to come and bow ourselves down to you? Sure will. But listen, keep your lips shut. And his brothers envied him, but his father observed the same. Now, his father, because remember, Israel had connection with God. Israel had a keen sense of God speaking. And his rebuke to Joseph was a matter of, I think, trying to give him a little bit of balance. But he was also offended, if you listen to what he said, in this idea that now, your brethren, but me, but listen, Joseph paid attention. Israel paid attention. And his brethren went to feed their flocks in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it will be well with thy brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out to the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And certain men found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what seekest thou? He said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed the flocks. And the man said, they departed hence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, they didn't even let the joker get close to him. When they saw him afar off, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him to slay him. Now, we out here murdering and killing. We got Shechem and Shechem's daddy and all the men of Shechem and killed all of them with a deceptive, you need to be circumcised because you defiled Dinah. And at the end of the day, as I said several times on yesterday, we got circumcised murderers on our hands. So now, at this point, this is coming to their house where sibling rivalry and hatred has grown. And listen, that's why the Bible says, be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Why? Because it's going to simmer and it's going to smolder and it's going to grow and it's going to grow and it's going to grow. And they were really angry at Joseph for something other than him running his mouth about his dreams and visions. They were really angry at him because his father favored him, which Joseph had no control over that. So at the end of the echoes of Cain and Abel, that's exactly what it is, one reason. And when I get a chance to really get into epigenetics, I'm going to touch on that, because now we're genetically seeing where there's a predisposition and genetically something being passed from person to person, from generation to generation. And at this point, you know, I look and I'm like, listen, they said one to another, behold, and they don't even call him by his name because they are angry. They've had enough. They are fed up. The dreamer cometh. Woo! There was no love in that. There was no love in that. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him. And slay means slay. They meant to kill that child. And cast him into some pit. We don't even care which pit we cast him in. Just find some place, kill him, and throw him in. And we will say some evil beast came. Now this lion spirit that they just cannot get off of this family. Some evil beast hath delivered him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. While he's doing all this dream, honey, we're going to show him something. Now Reuben, that oldest brother, is the one that saved Joseph's skin. Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. Now, isn't this just sad? And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands to deliver him to his father again. So he's thinking, I'm going to come back, put him in the pit, come back and get him afterwards, and all is good, but at least he won't be dead. And it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brethren that they stripped Joseph out of his coat. Now, there's a significance to that, because listen, that coat represented so much negativity to them. And there's something about when you have a gift, when you have something that's been given to you that the others don't have, it can create, yes, even in the house of God and in spiritual things, it can create all kinds of havoc and hatred because people are jealous and they are coveting that gift that you have. Isn't it apropos that they take the very coat of many colors that his father gave him as a beloved gift, and they take that coat of many colors that was with him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. They listen, if you die, you die. It's on you. And they sat down to eat bread. Children. Now, y'all ain't ready for me. That sounds just like some KKK lynchings. Shall we gather at the... We're going to church. Then we go out and kill somebody or throw them in the pit, hang them from the tree, and then we sit down and have lunch. And as we had with the KKK, took pictures, had the kids there. Like, this is... Y'all, listen. This energy that is all the way wrong, but continues to be manifested because it was in the Bible like it's okay. No, it's not. It wasn't okay then, it's not okay now. So this is where I'm challenging us when we see different elements like this that are challenged. A picnic. One reason they had a picnic. Throw him in the pit and then sit down and eat some bread. When we see challenges like this, we've got to come to a point where it's like, listen, I don't care if you took it straight out of the Bible. There are things about God that are the same yesterday, today, and forever. It wasn't right then, it's not right now. But this energy, what I'm trying to show here, this energy was alive and well all the way back here. This energy where brother against brother, because at the end of the day, what did I say to us on yesterday? We're all from one flesh. We're all from one blood. So at the end of the day, there is no difference between one and the other. But somehow we delude ourselves into thinking that there is a difference and it doesn't matter. And I can throw my brother by, because remember, these are Leah's kids and Leah's handmaid's kids. These are Rachel's handmaid's kids. But at this point, when you have this idea that it's my brother from another mother and he doesn't matter, I don't have the connection to him. Now, at the end of the day, this is what causes us to have problems in the land in which we live today, because we see ourselves as separate. We see ourselves as separate. And when we look at the others, it was a celebration indeed, Joanna. It was a celebration. So when we see ourselves separate from others and disconnected, we can do all kinds of damnable and abominable things against them, or say, because listen, your tongue is an unruly member. It's deadly poison. Listen, at the end of the day, who can tame it? Your tongue that's out there wagging can be just as deadly and just as potent as if you took a weapon or you took some means and killed somebody physically. You can kill their character. Listen, this is a thing. I had to learn this the hard way, because I had somebody that was very near and dear to me. And I'm not going to go through all the story of it, but very near and dear to me. But every time this individual would get mad, and it was really a jealous spirit, because I finally had to identify they want to be me. They got, and listen, there comes a point when they said, keep your enemies closer. I kept this individual closer than anybody, because I knew when he showed his tail the first time, he wasn't an enemy. But at the same time, I'm embracing you, and I'm coming, and I'm continuing to extend love. But at the end of the day, every time this individual would have a falling out with me, it would always turn into a mass assassination of my character. And then would be the coming back, no apologies, mind you, just the coming back, acting like ain't nothing ever happened, and here we start all over again fresh. Well, listen, that third time, the Lord said, not so. You got somebody that's literally with their tongue assassinating your character. And where everybody thought I was going to go back and do like I've always done. No, sir, no, ma'am. This individual has on every single occasion gone out to assassinate my character and has not apologized not one time. What? At some point, you've got to, I don't care, they can do the same thing they've done all along. You got to learn to do something different. You're not going to assassinate me and then just be, oh, everything's fine and dandy. No, it's not fine and dandy. And what will end up happening, just like with Joseph in this story, They are going to fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut off like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he will give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way also unto the Lord, and he shall bring it to pass, and he shall bring forth your righteousness as the light and the judgment as the noonday. God will get to his place of judgment. And I'm not saying that to try to speak some kind of evil against somebody, but I am saying let God bring it to a place of judgment and leave it alone. So at the end, come on here, stay lifted. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, so many times, because we just keep going back in that same posture, and they come back and slay us again. Then the Lord has to resurrect us back. He has to resurrect our mind. He has to resurrect our heart. He has to resurrect. My sister-in-law has to come on. I'm talking to you, truck driver. And they just keep on coming back and slay you again. And then you go back and take that same. Honey, the Lord told me, no. I want you to respect the gift and the calling that you walk in. Do not position. And this by the word of the Lord. Because this, what I'm telling you, so many times, because we've been indoctrinated and taught, if you will, if you can't say something good, don't say anything at all. Sometimes you need to say something, and it's not good, not because what you're saying is not good, but you need to speak up, tell the truth, and shame the devil. But we learn ways to enable negative behavior and then just keep going back and letting them slay us over and over and over again. No, no, sir. No, ma'am. No. And I'm going to let the judgment come forth as the light and as the noonday, because at this point, I'm going to release you to God's hands. But what we're not fitting to do is to keep having this same character assassination over again and then come back as if nothing happened. Like nothing happened. Just sashay right on back. No. And we have to learn the areas of boundaries to respect ourselves, to respect the anointing that lies on our lives. And all of us are anointed. I'm not saying that like, oh, because it's spiritual thought leader or because I'm a woman of God. No. We're all children of God. We're all brides of the kingdom. There is a way that you must carry yourself, because if a king or a queen, if someone that reigns allows those to come in and treat them like they're less than a peasant, they cannot continue to rule, because the people are going to disrespect you. They're not going to worry about your next edict. They're not going to worry about the next law that you make, because their vision and their mind of you is so low and so negative. You just will be talking to the wind, as my great uncle said. They ain't going to pay you a bit more attention than anything. And with that, let me say this. Even as you're moving, and I'm not saying this to create a spirit of suspicion, but I do want to teach a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. When you walk in certain places, do not let everybody get close to you as if they have the right and the privilege to be all up in that, because they don't. They do not. Hello, do y'all understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? There is a place where becoming so familiar and so common is detrimental to you. Did I say something right there? I'm not talking about being intimate with those that are close to you. I'm talking about becoming familiar and becoming common to the place that they feel like they can disrespect you and no issue about it. Yes, there is an issue. Yes, there is an issue. And even if I take the place, come on, Crystal Method, come on, truck driver, even if I take the position of the Bible says, touch not mine anointed and do my prophet no harm, how do you think I can allow you to come and character assassinate my character time and time again and act like you ain't said nothing, you ain't did doing nothing, you ain't acting nothing, and business as usual, and everybody expects me to just act like, no, sir. What you did was an offense to God. And listen, and I'm going to let God handle it. I'm going to let God handle you. But what I'm not going to do is become so familiar and so common with you that you're going to treat me like trash. Come on here, truck driver. Come on here, kayak chick. Some of these people are treating us like trash because we allow it. I said something right there. I said a whole lot. They treat us like trash because we allow it. Woo! I'm talking real talk in here today. So we see they feel absolutely positively nothing. No remorse, no anything. It's above me now. Come on here, One Reason. You better talk. Stay lifted. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, God. Do not allow the people to become common and familiar. Don't allow them to make them common and familiar to them. Don't allow them to do not. It's one of the worst things you can ever do. Hear me when I say it. And they sleep good at night. Stay lifted. They sleep good at night. And you flipping and flopping and tossing and turning. And needing God to, Lord, resurrect my heart, resurrect my mind, resurrect my spirit, resurrect my emotions one more time, because I done let them get trampled all. And you know what? And I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying this with any negative energy at all. Guess who's sleeping good at night now in those situations? Me, because I don't even waste my time or my energy. And at the end of the day, I'm like, the Lord is going to handle that. Because he already said in Psalms 37, fret not thyself, fret not thyself, fret not thyself, fret not thyself. Am I talking to anybody? He shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light and thy judgment as the noonday. And this is one thing I don't have to stand up and try to defend myself. Matter of fact, when things were going on, I didn't watch it. I didn't observe it. I didn't listen to it. Folks come to me saying X, Y, Z. I didn't listen to that. Why? Because I'm not going to entertain any of that energy. Because God's going to bring forth my righteousness as the light and my judgment as the noonday. Do y'all hear me talking? Come on here. Let me come up. I see some comments. Come on. I see that. Yes, Lord, Crystal Method. You've witnessed people suffer abuse thinking they're turning the other cheek, but Jesus wasn't promoting abuse. Not at all. Stay lifted. I'm not your floor mat. I'm not your doormat. And some of us have really taken that to the point where, listen, they come, they trample us underfoot, then come back and wipe their feet on us again and then walk off. Abuse. And the church has gotten so twisted, we don't know to call abuse out. We'll let somebody be abusive, act abusive, talk abusive, and then be like, pat them on the back. Well, you know, that's just them. No, it's abuse. Verbal abuse and character assassination is abuse. And I'm not walking back to abuse. I'm not going back to talk to abuse. I'm not getting ready to entertain and hee and kiki with abusers. I'm not going to do it. You had to call an emergency meeting at work because I had reached my limit in how a coworker was allowed to talk to the rest of the office. Listen, and that's the thing. It's allowed. It's allowed. And that becomes the problem when you feel like it's okay to let somebody run amok and be out of control. And at the end of the day, that's it. One reason. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. He said, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. I will repay. And that's the part that we just have to pay attention to. He will repay. Now, in that, I'm not sitting up and waiting. Oh, when's the Lord going to get them? When's the Lord going to smack them down? Listen, that is none of my energy. As a matter of fact, let me me tell you what I pray. Lord, please, please, please have grace and mercy. Please, because listen, if you sowed the wind and you're going to reap the whirlwind, you getting ready to get this back 100-fold. Lord, please let them have crop failure. Please let them have crop failure. Please don't put them on it like that. Please don't put it on them. Don't, because I do love the person and I do care for him. However, I do know you're going to reap what you sowed, and you sowed the wind and you're going to reap the whirlwind. I sleep good at night. Am I talking to anybody? Woo! And there comes a point in time when you stop being the person that takes abuse. Yes, stay lifted. You do have to address it. You have to address it. Stop. And this is, can I say this? Because this is a problem that we really have, especially in the church community. And again, even more so in the black community. We act like if I just pretend like nothing ever happened, it's going to fix itself and go away. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yes, and it was handled, Kai Chick. No, it's not. It needs to be addressed. And this is my thing. When I come to the point where I realize folks don't want to address real stuff, I dismiss myself. Because if we're still going to keep doing this, pretend like this ain't here, pretend like, no, I'm done. If we can't get to the root, if we can't get down to, when we're ready to talk and we're ready to address it, I'll be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. I'll be back. But as long as we keep, because this is the thing, when we do things the way we've always done it, and we see what that's produced, why and how long are we going to continue to do that same behavior over and over and over and over again? Hello. Everybody retreating to their corner, doing the same thing we've always done. It doesn't work. They sit down and they have a picnic. They lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead, where their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh going to carry it down to Egypt. Now check this out. Check this out. These low down brethren. And Judah said unto his brother, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him. Now, profit and sell. We talked about this before, even with Shechem and Shechem's father. He just wanted to do what they were doing because, listen, if we marry our daughters to their daughters, we can make some money. We can get some cattle. They'll be in our land and we'll be rich because they're money, 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 money. Money. The bright idea. Let's make a profit and sell him to the Ishmaelites. And let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. Now this hypocrisy. This back and forth hypocrisy takes me out. He's our brother. But we gonna make some money off of him. Hello. We gonna sell him to the Ishmaelites and let him go into bondage into Egypt. But he's our brother. Do y'all see the hypocrisy that's going on here? And his brethren were content. The rest of them said, okay, we can go for that. And I wonder what they did with the money. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they bought Joseph. Here we got a foreshadowing and a foretelling of Jesus. And Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned into the pit. And behold, now, because remember, Reuben's plan was he was going to go back. His whole plan was to save his brother, put him in the pit, then go back and spare his life and get him out of there. Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his clothes And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and whither shall I go? Because he knew good and well there was no way he could go back and tell Israel that the baby was gone. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of goats and dipped it in the coat of... Listen! These deceptive, conniving, deceiving brethren. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And they sent the coat of many colors and they brought it to their father. Now, could care less about how this was going to impact Israel. Now, Israel's an old man. They didn't care. And there goes the cover up. One reason. There goes the cover up. They didn't even care about how this was going to break their father's hearts. These brethren are cold-hearted. Do you hear me? But then what do we say? Because he's our brethren. And I'm going to say this just because so many times we want to bury our own heads in the sand. Everybody that pretends like they are for you is not for you. And again, I'm not trying to create a spirit of conspiracy and fear, but you do need to be wise. You do need to have discernment. Everybody that's acting like they're for you is not for you. And some folks that are close to you are just coming to get the intel of what you're doing. And they're going to take it back to the enemy's camp. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You need to discern the people, the times, and what's going on. Marvin said it. What's going on? Goats don't kill. Come on, truck. Woo! And this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. You know it is. You took it off of him. But now you're trying to play the nut role. We know not whether it... And he knew it and said, it is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes and put on sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. This man is grieving, just grieving. Listen. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down into the grave until my son mourning. Thus his father wept. This man, and he was going to grieve himself to death. And this is what I will say, because I talk about this a lot in current times, how men often don't know how to grieve. We've made a society where it is frowned upon and negative for men to express their grief. And when I tell you, I have seen close brothers of mine, close friends of mine, that have grieved themselves literally into the grave. That is the truth. I watched it. I tried to have some level of connection, communication. But listen, at the end of the day, and I almost feel like if the brothers could find a way to connect with the brothers, because, you know, I'll even say this. I work in the death care industry currently, and it's a given that we have a compassionate care line for people to call. And most calls happen in the middle of the night. And whether people realize it or not, statistically, by far and large, our highest numbers are men. And I said, I feel like that is because women can usually find somebody that they can talk to. They can find, you know, we kind of have a sisterhood. It may not be everything it needs to be, but we do have a sisterhood more times than not. But brothers just don't know often how to make a brotherhood that goes into those deep recesses of the heart. That's where a lot of times we'll see our brethren cut themselves off and just grieve and grieve, or start all kinds of bargaining, all kinds of, you know, whatever. without it being done in a healthy way. And they get stuck. They get stuck in the mud and just keep spinning their wheels, just keep spinning their wheels and going deeper and deeper. Or if I use the analogy of getting caught in quicksand, and every time they just keep getting swallowed up and swallowed and just going down, 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 down. Women are way more compassionate, one reason. And I have seen it with my eyes, one reason, truck driver. I have seen the need for men to be able to come together and bond and be close in their grieving, because they need that. And they'll do just what Israel said he's going to do here. I'm going to grieve my son into the grave. And he would not be comforted. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt under Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. And let me see where I am, because I probably need to stop on Potiphar's the story. Okay, I'm way over. I'm way over. 652. So I'm not going to go into the story of Potiphar, because that'll take us into a whole nother dimension. But I hope that something that I've said tonight, but even as we stop at that space right there, I wish there were a way that I could make a fellowship for brothers grieving. And really, we need a grieving space, period, because women and men are in grief. I'm telling you. And especially after 2020, man, I mean, we grieve anyway, but 2020 was just a hard pill to swallow. And then since then, it's like some of us have never actually had an opportunity to really stop and grieve all the folks that we lost and all the things that happened. Not just people, but even things. Some of us lost jobs. Some of us lost all kinds of things. And that grief was just overwhelming. And our society never let us stop and catch our breaths. We didn't get to stop and catch our breath. We could not. We just had to keep on, pick up where we left off and hit the ground running. And people are devastated by grief and don't know how to deal with it. Some don't even know how to get in touch with it. But I guarantee, if you don't get in touch with it, it will get in touch with you. I wish there were a way, as we close tonight, that we would not have, even as Israel said, I'm just going to grieve myself right on into the grave. That needs to be dealt with, because we can't. There is life after loss. There is love after loss, but it is hard. It is hard. All right. I'm going to come through and say good evening to everybody that's in my chat. Truck driver was here bright and early. That's my Mufasa. I appreciate you so much. The Bishop of Twitch, one reason, is here. Kachik came in bearing gifts and giving offering. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for your resub. Coming on down, I see, let's see, Crystal Method, bless you, sis. So much love coming to you. Thank you for being in, and thank you for your conversation tonight, as always. Phoenix System 80, so much love coming to you, my brother. Come on in here, and I appreciate you for being in the house. Coming on down, and Stay Lifted is in the house. I appreciate you, sis. Joanna G 98, come on. I love you. Good evening to you, and thank you for being in the house with us tonight. I think I said Kai Chick. Did I get everybody that's actually in my chat tonight? And again, for those that are not in my chat, but you are here, I appreciate your presence here, and nothing but mad love to you. I hope that something that I've said on tonight has helped you in some way, shape, or form. If you would, just think on these things. As I said earlier, sometimes you just need to ponder it in your heart. Ponder it in your heart. Think about it. If you are that one that is repeatedly letting people come in and abuse you, in the name of turning the other cheek, that is not the Lord's will. We are not people's whipping posts, and we are not here to be abused. All right. I used to grieve by drinking, but now I know how to cry and not drink. Come on here, truck driver. You better speak on it. You better speak on it. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And that's one thing I love about you, truck. I love your transparency, and I love your ability to show men, strong men, how to still have emotions and be in touch with those emotions. And I appreciate you for that. I really do. I love you, man. I love you more than words. All right. And I wish we could get a whole group of y'all together so that we could stop looking to other vices and go ahead and let those emotions out. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. All right. I love you with the love of the Lord. We'll pick up in Potiphar's house on tomorrow, and we are making good traction. I want to say again, I'm gonna be out of pocket. So while I'm gone, I want you all to continue reading. So I'll touch on that. I'll be on the plane on early Wednesday morning. So we'll cover on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock the reading, and make sure, I want you guys to get and stay up with the reading and where we are. And this will give you a little time in the time that I'm away. Just read, and we can really make an impact in the reading. I do want to ask this question because Stay Lifted brought it up on last night. If I were to do a Discord, can you put in the chat, would you prefer it? What time would you be considering? Give me a day, give me a time. And not that I just want to see input, if you would please. If we were to do the Discord where we can actually see one another and talk and discuss some of the things that we've been talking about over the last weeks, and I do understand that you all want to have more conversation, more in-depth discussion about some of these topics. I want to be able to see and know how we can maneuver that. Just put in the chat what would work for you. It doesn't necessarily, or you can inbox me if you don't want to put it in the chat. If you want to just inbox me in Twitch. I think you can also communicate with me in YouTube as well. You can be flexible in the evenings. I got you. Stay Lifted. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Whatever way you can get your time and energy that you would want us direct that opportunity to, just let me know. Flexible in the evening from Stay Lifted. Chat me if you want to. You can put it here, because actually this chat stays even after I've gone off the channel, so I can see it there. Or you can give me a private chat, or you can give me a message in YouTube, wherever you want to put it at, and we'll come up and Stay Lifted. I appreciate you for saying and expressing your desire and want to have that. And we can make that happen. We're going to make that happen. You can do most evenings except Thursdays. Thank you, Kai Chick. Thank you. Except Thursday. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. And I'm happy to do it. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. I'm happy to do it because I hope that this is helping you on a personal level. You are the teacher, so tell us. Evenings are good for you. Okay, yes, but I just thank you for that, Truck. You always honor me in that way. I just want to make sure that it's a time that's workable for those that are coming in as much as possible. I know I may not be able to meet everybody to perfection, but I do, for those that really want to be a part of that, I do want to try to accommodate what works best for you. And I can make myself, and I can be flexible pretty much in the evenings as well. All right. So I'm going to look toward adding the Discord piece to it after I come back. And so if you would communicate with me, those of you that have a preference or have a need of a particular time that works better for you, communicate that to me, and then I'll let you know when I come back, and we'll set that in motion for those that want to come back and discuss in Discord. All right. I love you guys. I absolutely positively do. Thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for your attention, and blessings upon blessings. And as I always like to say to you, peace for your journey. Have a great night.